Hey everybody, welcome back to 1 Minute Walking Tours. As always, I'm your host, Jonathan. I want to thank everyone who's been liking, subscribing, and sharing. And if you're interested in what we're doing here on 1 Minute Walking Tours, you can subscribe, I hope you will. You will like, I hope you will. And you will share, I hope you will. You can also support the show on Patreon if you are so inclined, so you can learn more about things like this statue. Now, this is one of 6 Christopher Columbuses here in New York City, but this sculpture was actually the first, and it has an interesting nickname. It's the Lost Columbus. Well, why is that, you would say? It's clearly on display here in front of the Supreme Court building here in Brooklyn, in what is called downtown, part of Brooklyn known as downtown Brooklyn, which is actually just not too far from the Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, this statue has been on permanent display since 1971. It was in Chinatown for a while and was finally moved here and has been here ever since. But interestingly enough, this statue was sculpted in 1867 by Emma Stebbins. Stebbins, I finally figured out how to pronounce it, who sculpted the angel, the statue in Bethesda Fountain in Central Park. Now, this sculpture was originally supposed to go to Central Park, and when it was received by New York City, and actually by Central Park as it's being built, by a man named Marshall O. Roberts, he donates it to the city, and it is much ballyhooed. It then disappears. So it's discovered again in 1892, a big year for Columbus statues here in the United States, because it is the 500th anniversary or commemoration of Columbus's first voyage. After that, it disappears again. So in 1912, it is rediscovered. They say much ballyhooed again, and they put it in the papers. Lost sculpture, $25,000 sculpture by the famed Emma Stebbins has been rediscovered. And it doesn't go back on permanent display. It actually goes back into storage in Central Park, where it turns up 20 years later in McGow Pass Tavern, where it had been looking down on patrons for quite a while. So in 1934, the statue is rediscovered again, having languished in a 97th Street storage facility in Central Park. But this time, it finally gets out. It is finally logged and finally put on permanent display. So now it is here in Brooklyn, finally free from cobwebs and drunken tavern goers. Now, there's been a call by an anonymous group to have this statue removed, given our new historical evaluation of Columbus, his voyages, so forth, colonialism. They even held a rally here where there was a lecture discussing colonialism and Columbus's participation in all of that. And I personally feel, I think there's more than enough Americans. There's more than enough people that we can commemorate that one less Columbus statue certainly isn't going to hurt anybody. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you here soon on 1 Minute Walking Tour.